Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Sumaya AI Wali, student at Rehan AI Teachers Training Institute, batch 21. So, in a world that constantly tells us to do more, have more, and be more, the idea that less can actually lead to more feels almost revolutionary. Yet, simplicity often unlocks clarity, focus, and true fulfillment. Let's explore how embracing less can transform different areas of life through thoughtful discussion with ChatGPT. So, how less can lead to more is about intentional living, removing excess to make space for what truly matters. Whether it's minimizing distractions, commitments, possessions, or even thoughts. That the concept helps improve productivity, mental clarity, relationships, and overall happiness. It's not about deprivation, it's about prioritization and purpose. So let's get connect with ChatGPT. Hi ChatGPT.
Hey, I'm here and ready to help. What's on your mind today?
I have questions about how less can lead to more.
That's a really interesting topic. I'd love to help you with that. Are you thinking about it in a personal productivity sense, like minimalism, or maybe in design or a different area entirely?
So first of all, with mindset and perspective, how can adopting a less is more mindset improve my daily life?
Ooh, great question. So, when you adopt that mindset, you start prioritizing what truly matters, whether it's fewer distractions, fewer commitments, or just fewer stuff, material things. And in that space, you often get more clarity, less stress, and more focus on the things that actually give you fulfillment. Does that sound like the kind of shift you're looking for?
Yes, that really changes how I see things.
Absolutely. And once you start seeing how less clutter, whether mental or physical, opens up space for creativity, better decisions, and just a calmer day to day, it's like a weightless. Is there a particular area where you'd like to apply that mindset first? Maybe your schedule or your home?
I will. So, why do people often equate more with success or happiness?
Yeah, that's such a common thing. I think a lot of it comes from our culture. We're bombarded with messages that bigger, faster, more equals better. But really, that can just keep us on a treadmill, never satisfied. Shifting toward less lets us define success on our own terms, which is way more freeing.
Interesting. So, ChatGPT, how can we train our mind to value simplicity over excess?
That's a great point. I think it really starts with small intentional steps, like simplifying your daily routines, curating what you own, or setting boundaries on your time. And then you reflect, ask yourself what really brings you joy or purpose. Over time, that repetition helps rewire how you see value.
Right? What are common mental barriers to embracing less?
Yeah, a big one is fear of missing out or feeling like you'll lose opportunities if you don't do more. Another barrier is just old habits. Our brains get wired to chase busyness, and sometimes we tie our worth to productivity, so letting go feels risky.
Very relatable. So, ChatGPT, now my next session is about productivity and focus. So, how does doing fewer tasks increase productivity?
Great transition. So, when you focus on fewer tasks, you actually reduce mental clutter. You give more energy to each task, which means better quality, less stress, and a faster overall pace. It's kind of like a spotlight more focus light, more impact.
Right. So, more productivity is in doing less.
Exactly. When you do fewer things but the right things, you get to go deeper, you avoid burnout, and you actually get more meaningful progress. So, it's a bit counterintuitive, but super powerful once you embrace it.
So, what strategies can help us focus on fewer but more important goals?
Yeah, a couple strategies really help. First, you can set a clear priority list, like identifying your top 3 goals for the week and letting the rest go. Also, time blocking helps. You dedicate certain chunks of your day just to those big priorities. And of course, regular reflection, adjusting as you go so you stay focused.
Right. How can we eliminate distractions without feeling restricted?
Ah, that's a great balance to strike. So think of it like creating intentional space rather than rigid rules. For example, set specific windows for focused work, but also give yourself small breaks or moments of freedom. That way you choose the structure and it supports you, not confines you.
Sounds simple but effective. So ChatGPT, why is multitasking often less effective than single tasking?
Yeah, it really comes down to how our brains work. When we multitask, we're constantly context switching, which drains mental energy and actually reduces efficiency. Single tasking lets you get into a flow state so you produce better quality work faster.
Right. What about work and career? How can simplifying our workload lead to better performance?
Yeah, so when you simplify your workload, you reduce overwhelm and you give yourself the space to really master key tasks. You're not spread thin, so you can deliver more impact, build expertise, and even find more satisfaction in what you do.
Right. What does less but better look like in a professional setting?
Yeah, great question. In a professional setting, it might look like focusing on a few high impact projects instead of juggling lots of smaller tasks. It could mean streamlining meetings, reducing unnecessary reports, or honing in on just a handful of key clients. That way, your energy goes toward what really moves the needle.
Right. How can prioritizing fewer tasks boost career growth?
Yeah, it really gives you clarity on what moves you forward. By prioritizing, you're dedicating your best effort to the work that aligns with your long term goals. That visibility often leads to recognition, new opportunities, and ultimately faster growth in your career.
Insightful. So ChatGPT, how can owning fewer things improve financial stability?
Yeah, so when you own fewer things, you naturally spend less on impulse buys and you focus on what really adds value. That means more savings, less debt, and a simpler financial picture, which gives you a lot more stability long term.
Right. So what are the benefits of minimalism in spending habits?
Yeah, minimalism really helps you become more mindful with your money. You start asking, do I really need this instead of just buying on autopilot? So you invest in fewer, higher quality things, and over time, that boosts your financial health and sense of freedom.
Right. ChatGPT, what about relationships and social life? How can we set boundaries to simplify our social life?
Yeah, that's such a powerful shift. Setting boundaries could mean saying no to events that drain you or carving out dedicated time for deeper connections. By doing that, you nurture quality over quantity and you have more time for the people and activities that really matter.
What about learn to say more?
Yeah, exactly. When you simplify your social life, you actually have more space to invest in yourself. You can say yes to the things that align with your values, and by saying no more often, you protect your time, energy, and emotional bandwidth.
Hmm. So setting boundaries is something we need to work on, right?
Absolutely. It takes practice for sure, but every time you say no or limit a commitment, you're reinforcing that you value your time and energy. And once you see how much lighter and more focused you feel, it really clicks.
Right. ChatGPT, how does simplifying life lead to greater happiness and peace?
Yeah, it really does. When you strip away the noise, like too many possessions, obligations, or distractions, you make room for what genuinely fulfills you. So there's less stress, more presence in the moment, and a deeper sense of gratitude, which all add up to greater happiness and peace.
That sounds like a peaceful way to live. Thank you. What small changes can we make today to start living with less but gaining more?
Yeah, definitely. You could start by decluttering just one area, like a single drawer or your desk. Another small change is to schedule a quiet morning or evening just for yourself with no distractions. And even a simple habit, like reviewing your to do list and cutting one task, can start the ripple effect.
Okay, such a great explanation. Thank you so much, ChatGPT, for sharing some insightfuls with us.
You're so welcome. I'm really glad it resonated with you. If you ever want to dive deeper or just check in on how it's going, I'm here for it.
Thank you. So, as we seen today, having more isn't always the answer. Sometimes the real magic happens when we choose less. Less noise, less stress, less distraction. Because in the end, less isn't empty. It's a space for everything that truly matters. Thank you so much for listening. See you in the next session.